welcome to the Book Over, our little book club where we talk about books, especially the ones that give us book hangovers. I'm Sarah with Ms. Megan.
Hey, everybody.
And today we are talking about Tragic Bonds by Bree, fifth book of Bonds the Tie series. We're almost to the end.
Yes, 5 out of 6. Bittersweet.
I have to say, this book, I really loved this book. I loved the first book and I loved the second book. And then I still liked the other books, but this book, there's something about it that I got warm and fuzzy feels or something going on this book. I don't know. I felt like it was really, I think what I got was finally what I've been wanting all along is the Bond group finally working cohesively together practically.
Mm-hmm.
we're 90% there. We're basically there. And I think that's why we're solving things, we're figuring things out, and we're working together like we should.
Now, I loved every book, of course, but I will say that I think, this book is where I think we've been leading up to this book for a while. I think Knox has been such a big character, and we've hinted at him for so long to finally get his story. And you're right, to have them kind of settled in their bonded group and be united front has been really amazing. And I also really loved in this book that I felt like I had a better understanding of how Ollies' powers work. I mean, obviously we're getting to learn more about the gods that live within them and all that, but I loved that it was explained, I think, a little bit more how sometimes how her bond can get tired and how her bond can go into hibernation and decide not to do stuff. So I understood, especially after the soul bonding when she was weaker, I love that those things were explained and they made sense to why sometimes Ollie has all this reach and this power and sometimes she doesn't. I thought things really made sense and clicked into place for me. I thought the whole how the powers, I like how getting to know more about how the powers work and having them explained. That was a favorite part of mine, this book, getting to know all this information on how her powers work and how the bonded group's powers work and how they work together. I mean, last book people were freaking out because of Knox, and I'm like, come on, they're not gonna after all of that build up, do you really think they're gonna kill Knox, people? Come on, have you not read a book before? No offense to all of you who were worried, but I knew Knox wasn't gone forever. I knew there had to be something. I think Sarah and I both did, of course.
We knew. It was just, how was he gonna come back? How was that going to happen, and how soon was it going to happen? And I was really happy that it was so quick.
Same.
And I liked how they did it. I liked the soul bonding part. I loved how, all of a sudden you have him waking up. So you get her view of being in his memories. And so she's learning all of his memories and everything. And then for him, all of a sudden be I'm waking up in a car and getting his, he's getting her memories too. So it's now they're just even. And I loved that. I'm can she soul bond with everybody? But I'm I like that they have that. They are the two that needed it. They needed it. Yeah. And
I like that for them.
Yeah, I really like that for them. And the prologue broke my heart, but it finally gave us a story. And so now we all of our theories are I know ours were very close to what we were thinking. Similar. So it's to know that, okay, that's what was going on, and that is why he had the issues he had and stuff. It's just I liked now having that closure of knowing what it is. And then I loved seeing after their soul bonding him taking her into his room and spending time alone with her and being close to her, or even to touch her was just, I was oh, good, that's what we needed, so
and the fact that she has this, I think people have wondered about the parents and the accident, and she had guilt. So I think a lot of people had thought maybe she had accidentally killed her family. So, and I know you have theories on that, but before we get there, I like that they both had this trauma and they early on and guilt and all this stuff, and that like he got to see that from her. Like
Mhm,
I did not expect that he would also be in her mind. 'Cause we saw her going into his like body, or like her or her,
mhm,
that's her bond going in there. So I didn't realize that they were both going to go into each other. And I think that's exactly what they needed for him to feel safe and to like know every aspect of her.
mhm,
That was the only way to move past his trauma.
mhm,
And also the fact that we saw it through North's point of view, viewing him as a kid in the revelation. I thought that that was so well written.
mhm.
um for that to be the reveal, and then for her to see it in his mind. It was just done wonderfully, and it didn't feel like forced. Like even afterwards, we still got them kind of working on stuff, and like she was still, even though she knew so much about him, she was still like a little apprehensive. And then, you know, he would be protective of her, and I loved seeing like how she loved his like vicious tongue set on other people.
Yeah.
Like that was the best. That was the best, of like coming together like that. I mean, I thought Jay Bree did a fantastic job of um redeeming Knox. I mean, I think we were getting there, and there were little
Yeah.
hints of it in the way he said, like, I wish I could love you in the next life. And it kind of is the next life
Mhm,
for
mhm.
them. They've gotten a second chance at the soul bonding.
Yeah.
So yeah, really well done.
Mhm.
And
Well,
then
and
I'm interested for your theory that you have there.
I don't think, okay, so her bond said that the bonds have said that they will not hurt the bonded group,
Yeah.
and they won't hurt they won't hurt anybody that is trustworthy and part of her friendship group even, right? They said
Mhm.
like, like
It's like
Sage and
threat.
Sawyer are fine. They're, that the group is fine. So like anyone that is good to her isn't going to get hurt by the bond.
Hmm.
So I don't think she killed her parents. I think because like it said like the whole like she said so much got wiped out. It wasn't just her parents in the car when that accident happened. Like this a big like area got wiped out. So I have a couple of theories, but one is that she didn't do it. That the resistance did it and made her think she did it to try to get her, like not suicidal, but down enough, depressed enough to just be willing to do whatever because why would I care anymore?
Yeah.
The other thought is that her parents weren't exactly good people somehow, and her
Hmm.
bond knew that and knew that they weren't going to be good. I don't fully believe that one because I'm like, how could she
Yeah.
not know that? But like even Knox noticed in the car, like he knew her feelings of like feeling safe and with her family, but he noticed like the dad's like on high alert and stuff,
Which
um
made it seem like they were being chased or something. So they
being
knew.
chased or
So
something.
they were definitely on the run. So they knew that there was something up.
Yeah,
Like,
they knew something was up, but I don't
but
fully
how much
believe
did
that
they
she's the one
know?
that killed them. I think something else
Hmm.
happened. I don't think she I don't think the bond inside her would kill her family.
unless unless because it was the first time the bond came to her, unless it was just some kind of like explosive thing the bond couldn't control because it was so new to the body. Like unless it was some kind of just like reaction. But yeah, I think there's merit to your theories for
Yeah,
sure.
there's this I think there's more. And I think we're gonna I well, I mean, we have one book, so I hope we find out
Yeah.
exactly
And
it is because it's such a big
mhm,
weight on her shoulders thinking that she
yeah.
killed these people like her family that I think I would love to see that weight lifted.
And the way she reacted when she thought her bonds would like hate her afterwards, and
Mhm,
how they, they loved and supported her. I loved that they, first of all, that she could turn to Knox because Knox already knew, and
mhm,
second that, that was like the last thing that she was hiding from them. And
mhm,
I think that brought them all closer together.
mhm,
But I will say, it was interesting. Knox taught her how to keep Griffin out of her head. And like at first Griffin didn't notice, but I'm sure Griffin missed it. But another
yes.
thing is, I remember them saying that like one of her fathers was working with her on trying to keep people out of her head. So that makes me wonder, like, if something was up with that, why, if he worked with her and he was a neuro, if there
Mhm,
was maybe a reason why it didn't work back then. I don't know. That's just
mhm.
something that like I don't know,
right? Something to
in the
teach
back
them
of my
love.
mind. Yeah, like
Mhm.
maybe that's something, maybe it's nothing. Maybe she was just a kid and it took her
Right?
a minute.
Who knows? We could
Yeah,
be reading way too much into like
we could
everything.
be. It happens. It happens.
It does happen. But I do have to say, like back to that with like the Bonnet group, I'm like, I love Gabe and Sawyer because they just have so much support for her. Like they're just always
Mhm.
there. They're just so understanding and they're just like, I get it and I'm here for you. Like I love that about those two bonds. And then
Sawyer? You said Sawyer.
oh, did I say I meant
You said Gabe and
Atlas and Gabe?
Sawyer. I
Atlas
thought you
and
meant
Gabe. But you know
Atlas.
what?
Yeah.
Sawyer too. Sawyer is awesome. Like
Sawyer,
as a
yeah.
friend, he's an awesome friend. But
Yeah, and I love that
Gabe and Atlas,
they got
sorry.
their bonded too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved I love that group. And then poor
Mhm.
North. I was worried about North for a while there, you guys.
I
I was so
know.
worried about him, like him drinking and him, and then Knox, like, I'm not gonna tell him that like this was aimed at him. And then
Mhm.
just like I think Knox, is like trying to protect his brother, and then North,
Mhm.
is like he's the one that's always trying to protect everybody, and he felt like he
Yeah.
failed, and then like and everyone's so worried because like Ollie did her whole thing. Ugh. But North,
Well,
I
they
was really
felt her
concerned
like
about North for a while. I was
they
like, oh
felt
no.
her like leave her body, so that was like the worst thing for them.
Mm-hmm.
I think North needed to break down because North does everything. Like
Yeah,
North is like basically the de facto president, if you ask me. You know,
yeah.
he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders, taking care of his bonds. I think he needed to have. I think he just needed a good breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
Like he deserved to just like have a minute.
Yeah,
But I'm glad that like he got over it.
yeah, yeah.
But that must
And
have been that's his brother and his bonded,
yeah,
like, the 2
that's
most
hard for
important
him. That's his only
people.
family left too. Like it's
Yeah.
just that's gotta be hard. But then
Mhm.
sorry, we're going all over the place. Like then we have Griffin, we meet his parents.
Oh gosh.
I loved how she handled them, like how eventually she was just like, just put him in his place.
Yeah.
And he like left, and like I love his mom. How she's like,
Oh,
he wants to move here, but I'm gonna convince him not to, just because I know that's not the best thing for you right now. I'm like, that's
yeah.
such a good mom to know, like, be like, I miss my baby, but like, we're gonna do this for you.
And that kinda gives me almost like Atlas vibes, how Atlas's mom, like,
Yeah.
even though within the resistance, did everything he could she did everything
Hmm.
she could for his son,
Hmm.
and we learned that, like, I think even their bonding group might have not been legit, that they were breaking up
Yeah.
bonding groups, so that makes me think that maybe Griffin's bonding group isn't supposed they even mention, like, you can get tested. I have a feeling that their bonded group
Yeah.
isn't
Yeah.
isn't a real bonded group either.
Isn't that
So I
insane? It's so
yeah,
insane, but
and I think
and it makes
maybe that
sense.
it
Yeah.
does, and I think that maybe that's why some of these people are so twisted, is that, like, they didn't find their bonded group, and I think maybe that really messes with them
Hmm.
more than they even realize, than it just
Right.
being a like, because Oli had even said, like, "I don't understand how someone could think," and I think that was, like, a little bit of a teaser in the last book. She has and it was called Forced Bond, so I think there's a lot of,
People are forcing it mentally, like on
yeah,
themselves, and like being like, oh
and
yeah,
not
this is a bond, but then like if you're
yeah,
not feeling it,
like,
you're
and
just
she said, like
ignoring those signs.
and she
Hmm.
said, like, "How could anyone know first of all, how could anyone be forced into it? Like, how could they be tricked?" And then she's like, "Well, if you've never felt it, how are you supposed to know?" So
Hmm.
I think that was a little, foreshadowing with Knox too.
Hmm.
But I think also with so many people that were in the wrong bonded group, and I think that that's created a lot of like issues. And probably maybe that's one of the reasons the resistance did it. Maybe it brainwashes them. And I think you know like what's the resistance motive? Well, they want to take over the world and be in charge, but you would think they want to be more powerful. So you're like, what's going on? And then it's revealed at the end that like I was wondering like, is this going to be like a thing where the real world comes in and starts battling them too? And it's this the is she a senator? I forget what she is, but she's a I think she's an old god or whatever too. So I think that she has a motive, and perhaps she's trying to play both sides. She's
Hmm.
using the resistance to her advantage.
Hmm.
And maybe she is purposely messing up their bonded groups to keep them like almost brainwashed too, the
Hmm.
resistance brainwashed
Yeah.
by like messing up their bonded
Yeah.
group.
Yeah.
So
I
I think there's
agree.
something too. Yeah.
I think, yeah. And I
Mhm.
was actually surprised that I was like, how did North and Griffin not pick up on her on the meetings? But I mean, if she's not gifted, so I'm like, it's mind blowing to be like, okay, so you can have a bond and not have a gift. Like,
Well, now Oli was able to hide her gift. Remember?
yeah,
Like
that's true.
people they did not know that she had a
Yeah.
gift because she was so powerful and she had the void
I was
eye. So
not surprised when she should, because I'm like, I know she's no good. So when it was
yeah,
her, I was like, okay, yeah. Like, it was like, ugh. But I think my thing is the revelation that like the bonds, the gods inside them
hmm
all know
knew
each other
they've been
from the
here before.
past, and that
Yeah.
they're like, and then that they finally piece together like each one of them have it, like even Griffin, like, and so
Atlas.
that, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So all that, the dragon, I loved how
Yeah.
they were like trying to talk the dragon down. It was just like, can I have him back now, please? Like,
And the
I
dragon's
love
more
that.
animal. Yeah. Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
that me too. So it seems like maybe some of those other bonds haven't been with her as much. It seems like North and Knox's bond, maybe they've been together a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like during maybe I don't think that in my mind that, like through the past that maybe they weren't all together and this is finally the first
Time they're
life
like
they've been able to all be
find each
together.
other. Yeah.
Yeah, like all of them. Like
Yeah.
maybe been able to find certain ones. So I'm
I
excited
think
to
that's right.
hear
Yeah.
about that.
I like that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to
Good.
figure out,
Yeah.
to find out more of the lore.
Exactly. Yeah, this book was really well, I mean, all of them are well. This one was so well written, and then everything that just came out of it. I think that's why I'm just like, I could like, if I had the actual book right now, I'd be like hugging it, because I really
Oh,
enjoyed it. So it's like I'm really excited for book 6. I'm kind of like, no, it's the last book, but then I
like
think we're
like
at a
we
spot where
we
I
should
think it's
learn.
gonna tie up okay.
I
I
think
think
so
we're gonna
too.
be content with the ending.
I think so too. I
Yeah.
think we're getting to that place with the main plot, the main villain's revealed. We're gonna battle it out. And we've had so many great moments where it's not just okay, I love the balance of, I think the sex scenes are natural, first of all, which I think is
Mhm,
really important.
mhm,
Then we have this amazing plot, and then we just have them like being like goofing around on each other and dealing with like Gabe leaving his shoes everywhere, living together, dealing with like being in a relationship. I love the little moments that they have, and I think they do a really good job of balancing that, and then balancing the friendships too. It's just
mhm,
so well rounded.
mhm. It is. And I
Um,
loved meeting Gabe's uncle and cousins, and how he
oh
was like so relieved to have help with the building and stuff. And I'm like, because you take for granted even reading this, like how much work this group was putting into everything.
mhm.
And then like when they finally get that like little extra help where you're just, and then they're like, oh, okay, I can breathe for a second. You're like, oh yeah, you are doing a lot, aren't you? Like
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it's just in the whole sanctuary. There's so much going on.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's just been such a ride of a series, and I could read about these characters like doing anything, and that's one of the things that makes it so special.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
We love Bonds if you
I
haven't been
love
able.
them. I love them so much. I'm excited for the last book. I would say for more, but it is just the last book, so well. But yes.
Yeah.
Um, okay, do you have a hero book? I can tell you mine. I went right
Yeah.
into Dukes of Madness right after this one. So
And I did as well.
okay.
We literally both read Dukes of Madness after this book. So,
Yeah. So that's
and
what
that
we
was
did.
maybe the only series that I could probably get into after this book. Like, this book was so addictive. I think Dukes of Madness was maybe the only one that I would be able to like it was perfect timing.
It was. I think it was. Yeah. One out the other. Yeah. It worked well together.
Yeah, two very elite series. So thank
Hmm.
God.
Hmm. For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
Okay.
everyone.
One more after this.
Yeah, one more.
Well, we started out our podcast with Bonds. That was our
We did.
first. So it's bittersweet in a lot of ways. We've been following it throughout.
Mhm.
So,
Almost
we'll-
a whole year of us
yeah.
following this series.
So we're excited for the next episode of September where who knows what we're going to crying, laughing,
Yeah,
all the good stuff, I'm
yeah,
sure.
for
So thank
sure.
you for coming on this ride with us.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And see you next one.
yeah. See you next time, everyone. Bye.
Bye.